The storm is upon us. Another inspirational short story. It was 5 o'clock in the evening, and the storm had been gathering momentum all day. Tam watched from the window with a scared fascination. It seemed as if some malevolent force had been unleashed on the world, and the trees surrounding the courtyard were bending in the wind. There was a crack, and a branch was wrenched from the tree trunk and hung like a broken limb, useless. The skies, they were dark and menacing. Tam put his coat on and went out into the courtyard, struggling to stay upright with the force of the wind. In the stable, the horse was clearly frightened. Her ears were back and she was showing the whites of her eyes. Tam did his best to calm her, and then, securing the workshop door, he retreated back to the house. His wife Gina was continuing to cook, and her whole body spoke as if she was trying to ignore the drama that was unfolding outside, and if she continued with normal activities, maybe she could deny it. Tam opened his mouth to speak and then decided not to. The clock ticked the time between the gusts of wind, and Tam tried to reassure himself that the house was firm, that they'd weathered storms before, all would be well. But he knew that this was the worst storm they'd ever experienced. And suddenly, into his thoughts, there was a tearing, a cracking, a groaning, and an almighty crash. A mosaic of nightmarish possibilities filled his mind. Maybe the horse was dead. His workshop was in ruins, his livelihood shattered. He put on his coat and ran into the yard. And indeed, a tree trunk had fallen on the workshop. Mercifully, the horse was still alive, although crazed with fear, tossing her head from side to side, and her hooves were shattering the edge of her stable. He spoke to her, but there was little he could do. He ran back inside, and he put his head in his hands. His wife Gina crossed the room. She took his hands in hers and held them. It felt comforting, as if it could prevent him from drowning. Then she spoke, a woman of few words. She said, "Tam, when we came here we had nothing. This house was a ruin. We built it up. We bought the horse. We built up the business. How do you think we did that?" Tam stared at her, not quite comprehending in his shock what she was asking of him. "We did it, Tam, because of your skill in your hands. We did it because of our inner resources. We did it because we worked as a team together tirelessly. We did it once. We can do it again. We can rebuild the business, or we can do something new. Listen, the wind has died down now. Let's eat supper and give thanks for the house." "And the horse," said Tam. "Oh yes, the horse." They smiled at each other. Tomorrow was another day. They would arrange for the tree trunk to be removed, and then they would see what was to be done. I hope you liked that story. If you did, please click the like button. Maybe comment, subscribe, share, And if you should be interested in my free PDF on how you too can use stories, then just click on the link below and I will send it to you. Thank you very much for listening.